the edges are rounded.
I'll take one.
Okay. Okay. If you change your mind, there's two. I have your mom. There's another one if you want one too. Oh, okay.
There's no way. There's no way my 12-year-old child's gonna drink out of a penis straw, Megan.
Okay, sorry.
You're sitting on the microphone.
I know you want to, Sophie.
There you go. Oh my god. Hold on. I'm trying to put it like the same distance as mine. It's like the last.
Oh.
Not the last episode, but the one before it that we were just listening to. I'm super loud and you're quiet. When we were doing Zoom, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because you were a little bit too far away. I could hear you fine, but I also couldn't hear how loud mine was. So, and I don't know how to fix shit like that. That sounds like a whole thing.
Okay. I'm just going to believe that even though this seems really close to my face, that it's the right distance. Okay.
Well, let's just see. It looks like our wiggles are about the same height.
Okay.
I just want us to be able to talk in a relaxed voice without...
Relaxed voice. Let's talk in a relaxed voice.
Let's be relaxing.
Zen. Tranquil.
Hi, welcome to the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
My name is Cherish.
I'm Megan.
We're here at Megan's house. I'm drinking Truly out of a penis straw.
Yes. The only way to drink a Truly.
The urethral opening is the at the end of the straw, and it's making me very uncomfortable.
I had to explain to Kenny where a woman's urethra is in conjunction to the vaginal opening.
Yeah. It's pretty common to have to explain that to people. Mm-hmm. I think they know that there's two items down there, but they're not sure where it comes out.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay.
They must have not taught boys that in sex ed. I learned all about the male urethra in sex ed.
I think that maybe some people were paying better attention in sex ed than other people. I think some people might have thought sex ed was like a time to like goof off and just like not pay attention is like funny.
Giggle about boners.
Oh, queefs.
But really they should have been paying attention because now who's the idiot?
Who's the baby daddy?
Who doesn't know where a girl's urethra is?
Yeah.
Dumbass. How's your week been?
Week has been good. There's a lot of COVID-19 outbreaks, but don't worry, I tested myself. Good. And I was COVID-free.
Cool.
But there was like coworkers that had the old COVID-areno.
They did?
Yes. Two different coworkers. And so I am coverage for early Sunday for one coworker. And the other one was actually a person that was not vaccinated and breast cancer survivor.
Oh, scary.
And like has some other like lymphedema and like other weird issues. And so, which are I think the reasons why they weren't vaccinated is just like health things. But yes, but they're doing well. But that was like kind of like a
scary.
Like, oh no,
yeah,
like what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that is scary.
Yes. Anyway, but that's been the week. It's work. Living life.
Yeah, I've been really busy.
Yeah, because you had a wedding. Mm-hmm. It looks like you did a photo shoot with a dog and a baby basket and Scouts like bassinet or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a client, but she's also a friend. So but that person that has that puppy, we did kind of like a new puppy photo shoot for her other puppy as well a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And did the basket and the flowers and all that stuff. And so she got a new puppy who is huge. And she's so fucking cute.
Yeah. Looks kind of like a oh my gosh, what are they called? Those guardian dogs that are
let's see if she can guess the breed.
Hold on. livestock guardian dogs. And
That was my first thought.
It's not? Huh.
English Mastiff.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, the other one has like silver points. Oh my gosh, my brain is like not functioning, but I think it starts with an N. This is like a total, anyway, never mind.
That's fine. But yeah, cute big puppy. She's got great big paws, and her the crate that they're like crate training her in is like the biggest crate I've ever seen in my entire life. It's huge. It's like this tall, and it comes out from the wall to like here.
Like 4 feet.
Like Murdoch could walk in
Yeah.
and stand in it. I
Oh,
think.
nice.
Yeah, it's big.
That's perfect though.
I know, because she's gonna need it.
Yeah.
But she's stoked. She said it was like her dream dog. She's always wanted that dog. What? What is that face?
It's a face of driving myself crazy trying to remember what that breed of that dog is that's like driving me crazy. But anyway,
Google it.
Google Alexa.
Sophie.
Will you look up livestock guardian dogs?
Dog breeds?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What?
And get back to us with a list.
Crazy.
It's okay. We will figure this out because we're going to move past this.
Great Pyrenees, Candle Shepherd Dog,
Anatolian Shepherd.
Oh, yeah.
Anatolian Shepherd. It does not start with an N.
Nope.
Anne.
There's an N in it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Anatolian Shepherd. F word.
You can swear in front of Sophie. It's okay. She knows.
Fucking A, Sophie. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so today, on the worst day of my life, we have a very special guest. Her name is my daughter, Sofie. Come, Sophie.
Oh gosh. Don't hurt yourself on the way over.
So, up until last year, when I asked you what the worst day of your life was, what would you have said?
I don't know.
I can think of one of Sophie's worst days of her life. With the crab.
Yeah.
Sophie, do you remember the crab when I was like, thought it was like such a cute little tiny crab that you would think was like so cute, and then you lost your total shit and started screaming and freaking out at the park?
How old is she?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It was like when I was
Dating Dave?
Dating Dave, Sophie was like
3 or 4? 3?
I may have even been yeah, like I think probably like 3 or 4 or something. We went to the Fry Cove Park and we were just like out, on the beach, in the beach area. And I was like, Sophie, like, look at this tiny crab. And then she's like, ah! 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 It's like the size of my thumb. And like, I could not get Sophie to calm down, like for anything. Like it was like a whole like carrying back to the car, just like full blown. Yeah, sorry, Sophie. I'm going to throw you under the bus, but I feel like that was one of your worst days of your life, and also trying to get you to pee in a porta potty. To this day, you will still not pee in a porta potty.
Porta potty now?
Yeah, if I can get like, the toilet paper foil thingies, or just hover over it.
Hover?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hover.
Yeah. I think you were afraid to fall in the hole was what the problem was before.
Probably. So the other worst day of her life before last year, that I was referring to is when she was probably 7, 8?
Maybe, I think it was 9. Yeah, I think it was 9.
No.
Really?
Yeah. I think you're probably about 7. We went to... I know that you were 8.
Great
Sorry.
Wolf Lodge?
No, sorry.
No. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to predict Sophie's worst day of her life.
So when Sophie was probably 8, I took her on a little trip, and it was like I was getting divorced,
yeah.
and one of the big things that I wanted to do after I got my blood clot, I was like, I'm spending as much time as I can with Sofie. Like, that's priority now. You know, I'm not going to be at work all the time. I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to do fun things with Sofie. So we went on a little trip to Portland, and I was still really poor, but we stayed in this Airbnb that was in someone's backyard. It was just a shed in someone's backyard that had a bed in it.
Yeah. Nice.
And you had to like go into their house to go to the bathroom and stuff.
Oh no.
Which we just brought our own like camping toilet and just went in that because I didn't want to go into somebody's house to go to the bathroom. Anyway, we stayed there, and then our like day trip, the next day we were going to go to Sofie Island, which is just this beautiful spot on the Columbia River, and there's this awesome beach, and it was hot, and it was lovely and a good day for it. So we go out there, we park the car and walk on this trail that goes to the beach, and we get out there, and there's only one other person there, and it's this old woman. She's probably in her 70s, but like fit, right? And this woman does beach walking every day, probably, but like kind of one of those leathery, way too tan old ladies too. But she was laying down on her chest, but had her top off, which, okay, not a big deal whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, women do that all the time. So, we like start putting our towels down and blankets and stuff, and then I turn my head and look off in the distance, and like coming towards us was this old man, completely naked. His like little shriveled little grandpa wiener was like out, but he was so far away. Like, I don't think she even saw it. But
I think I saw him far away, but I didn't see.
You weren't focused on
no details. But so then just past that guy a little ways, I can see this other beach where it has like a park and like clothed people and volleyball and stuff like that. And I was like, oh shit, Sofie, we're in the wrong place. So I like grab her and we go out, and I see on the trail, written on the trail, it says like clothing optional beach and an arrow, and we totally missed that sign. We didn't even see it. So I'm sorry I brought you to a nude beach that one time when you were 7.
That was a nice time.
It makes, you know, it's a very good story. However, so now, what would you say the worst day of your life was?
My bus accident.
Whoa, what happened?
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh! She, right outside the door, and I go, son of a bitch.
I thought I heard the word. Oh God. Wow. Well. Yeah, that's our apartment.
So for one, the last few episodes that Megan and I have recorded have been very therapeutic for us. Specifically me.
Hey, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Megan called me this morning with the idea that maybe it would be therapeutic for Sofie if she talked about the worst day of her life. So we thought we would see if she wanted to talk about it. I asked her if she wanted to, and she said that she did. So we'll let her kind of talk a little bit about that. But
let's see. Okay, so this was in June of last year. School's almost over. Whatever. And so I get on the bus, sit next to my friend like I always do, and it's just a normal day. We were on our way home, and then suddenly the bus just runs off the road, and it crashes into a tree. So next thing I know, I am on the other side of the bus, just kind of like laying there, and so it was like the seat was up, and so I was like I was kind of just sitting there. And so I look out the window and, like, we're just in, like, a bunch of leaves and stuff. And my friend is still on the other side, and she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And whatever. And so everyone's, like, freaking out and screaming and crying. And I'm still trying to process what happened, and I was just sitting there, and so this girl is just, like, screaming, like, why, like, are you effing crazy? Like, why did you, like, crash this bus and whatever? So when I look down at my leg is bleeding, like, very heavily, and, like, my leggings are just, like, stained with blood, and I can't see anything. Like, my whole vision is just, like, rainbow, and I, like, almost passed out. And so eventually they're trying to get everyone off the bus because there was, like, construction workers or something on the other side of the road. I think they were, like, cutting down a tree, or a tree, and
they saw it happen and they wanted to help.
Yeah, but so they get everyone off the bus, and I stand up and start walking, and I just immediately fall. And I fall back into a seat, and my friend, she gets up, and her and this other dude try to help me get off the bus. And so I'm kind of just, like, limping off, and I texted my mom, and I was like, hey, our bus just crashed. And I texted my dad. And so we get out, we got everyone out, and so I'm kind of just sitting there on the ground, looking around still, like, wondering what just happened. And my leg's still bleeding, and my friend just gives me, like, her jacket and just ties it around my leg so that it might stop bleeding. It didn't really do anything, and her jacket kind of just ended up with blood on it. So, everyone's still screaming and crying. Parents are coming and, like, picking up their kids. And so my mom gets there. But I'm kind of just sitting there, like, laying on the ground, whatever. And eventually the ambulance comes, and they get me and my friend onto gurneys. My friend had a mild concussion, and I had broken my, I don't know where I broke.
Tibia.
Yeah, I broke my tibia, left tibia. Yeah. Before you got there, I was just really scared and, like, confused. And then when you got there, I felt a little better. Just to know that I had, like, family there to help me. But yeah, we get to the hospital, and they're like, oh, you're gonna need stitches. And I'm, like, freaking out and crying because I had never gotten stitches before. I've never gotten, like, surgery, and I was really scared. And they had to transfer me over to another hospital, and
Well, so they did an x-ray at the first hospital, and they saw how bad it was broken, and they said they weren't equipped to fix it at the small town hospital we were at.
yeah.
So that's why they transferred you to that other one. They sent you to a children's hospital where they know how to do that surgery better. And you had to ride in the ambulance alone.
That was fine, though. I didn't really...
They dragged you up.
Were they nice to you?
Yeah. But we got to the other hospital, and I'm still, like, freaking out and crying because I didn't want to get surgery. I didn't know what it would be like and whatever. And so they have me on this table, and they're, like, cutting off my clothes or whatever to see my leg. And I was kind of just, like, freaking out, sitting there like crying and whatever. Then you guys got there.
Uh-huh.
So that was nicer. But, so, right before they do the surgery, again, I'm still, like, freaking out and crying and whatever. And they take me into the room, and they're like, it'll only be, like, 10 seconds, and you'll wake up and whatever. And so, then I woke up in the hospital bed, and I had a cast on my leg. And like, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything more to the story than that?
I mean, I can fill in a few gaps if you can't think of anything else that you'd like to. Or maybe I can talk a little bit. Maybe it will remind you of some things.
Yeah.
We'll just pass the microphone back and forth so you can just tell me if you think of something. I was just going to say, well, the cast that you got was up to your thigh, for one. It was a very long cast because where her leg was fractured was at the very top of her tibia, which is where the growth plate is.
Right.
And the growth plate is, children have it, until you're a certain age, and then it, like, becomes a solid part of just your lower leg bones. But the growth plate just kind of, as you are getting taller, it generates bone for you to get taller, and it's supposed to happen equally on both sides. The reason they didn't want to do that surgery at that first hospital is because the fracture being through the growth plate, you have to really know what you're doing, because if you damage that growth plate, then that leg doesn't grow anymore.
Yeah.
And when that happens to a kid, then their other leg grows, and then they end up all crooked like me. So that was like a big concern for them. But that children's hospital was so awesome. The one in Marybridge in Tacoma.
Yeah, I've always
so
heard.
great.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Marybridge Hospital.
But I don't know if we want to hear my side of the story. I don't want to like make it all like about me.
Well, I mean, you were involved in it. I just want to acknowledge that. I think that I'm glad that Sofie, you shared your story. I think that was really brave to talk about that, and it's probably not easy to talk about something like that. Like think about it all over again, and that sort of thing. And that would have been really scary. I think I probably would have definitely shit my pants. So I'm really proud of you for not shitting your pants, because I would have definitely probably peed myself.
I for sure would have
and
peed myself.
thrown up and flipped out and maybe ran through like a jungle of trees and just.
Well, I couldn't run.
Yeah, I was sort of like dragged my. The fact that you even had like any kind of awareness to text your mom or anything like that, and just stay calm, like that's you sound really brave.
Well, I wasn't really calm. I mean, I didn't really feel anything. I think that's why I wasn't like freaking out. I mean, I was freaking out more like internally.
Yeah. Do you think about it still sometimes? Do you have like dreams about it, or does it come up for you, or is it something that you've kind of like just like it happened and you've moved on from, or?
I don't know if I really moved on from it, but I don't have like dreams about it or anything, but sometimes it just like randomly comes up in my brain.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but not really.
Do you talk to Jaden about it at all? Like, since you guys kind of went through that together?
Sometimes. But we don't really like get into like a deep conversation about it.
Yeah, just like, whoa, remember that time like we got in that bus accident, bro?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that was crazy. Like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what they figured out happened. Did I ever tell you? Maybe?
No, it was like
Okay.
still pretty confusing, because it was like
Yeah.
they were like kind of still trying to sort of investigate what may have happened with maybe him like going into diabetic shock or something, bus driver.
Yeah.
That was one of the theories, but
Yeah.
I guess what happened was the bus was going over this like cement bridge on the highway that goes over the creek. I think it's probably important to mention that this bus was going 55 miles per hour
Yeah,
when
Into a
it
tree?
Scary as F.
when it went off of the highway and crashed. This was not just going down the neighborhood. It was full highway speed. But it went over that little cement bridge that goes over a creek, and he was too close to the side of that bridge where there's like a barrier. What would I call that?
Like a concrete sort of like, it's probably a barrier, yeah.
I guess, yeah. Concrete barrier on like the sides of the bridge, and he was too close to it with his back tire. So when he went over the bridge, the back tire, or like some protruding part that comes out of the back tire, hubcap or whatever, hit the side of that bridge and sent the back of the bus flinging, to the left, which sent the front of the bus flinging to the right.
Oh, like
over
fishtailing kind of?
Yes. It went over this deep, deep, crazy ditch, which had to be what threw you across the bus. It went over this deep ditch and then into the tree.
Wow.
So she called me first. She didn't just text. She called.
Oh, okay.
And I was in Chehalis at the time, which is like, far.
Yeah.
35 minutes maybe.
Away? Yeah.
From where she was. And she was just, all I could hear was just kids screaming and crying in the phone. And she just said, "Mom, we crashed.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where are you? Where are you?" And she couldn't hear me. Mm-hmm. And so she was just like, I can't hear you. I think my leg is broken."
Oh, no.
And I was like, "What?" And then she was like, I'll text you. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
So then she hung up and she texted me, "We crashed. I think my leg is broken." And that was the last text I got from her. So I was like, "Where are you? What?" Because there's so many spots on that highway between her school and home where they could crash and like roll down a cliff into a river. I mean, like there's some gnarly spots on that highway.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know where they were, and I just hit the highway coming toward her where I knew she was somewhere there. I called Dave on the way. I called Patrick on the way. It was just like going as fast as I could go, but every like 5 or 10 seconds I had to pull over for a ambulance or a fire truck going by me,
scene.
Going to the scene, which made me so much more scared. I was bawling. I was like crying, and my heart was just like racing, and I was just like, I need to get to my child now. I realize you need to get there too, but like I need to get there. It was just like, it was so frustrating having to pull over because it's like you're so close but so far away.
Right.
It's like you just want to hold that child and fix it.
Yeah.
So, like, I tried as hard as I could to get there as fast as I could. And when I got somewhat close to the scene, there's this huge, huge long line of cars. I mean, like a quarter, half mile, I have no idea. Long line of cars. Yeah. And they're all completely stopped because all the emergency vehicles were blocking the road trying to, get there and everything. So I just pulled my car over on the side of the road and parked it and just started running, which... You know me pretty well, Megan. How many times have you seen me run in my life? Like, not a runner. Not something that I would do for anything except for injured child. So I just started running, and when I got closer, my heart sank like even more because I just saw the crash and like, oh my God, it was so scary, and I couldn't find her. There's kids everywhere just like scattered all over the grass, like crying and holding each other, and blood everywhere. And anyway, she was getting her leg bandaged up, and I ran over there, and like, she had a sweatshirt and a backpack on still, and it was so hot. She was just sitting there sweating, so I was like pulling the stuff off of her, like making her drink water, and I was like, I'm here. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're okay. Yeah. I'm so glad that it's not, down a cliff and in the water, like, but, Jaden comes up to me, Sophie's friend that was sitting with her, and she's got blood all down the front of her face, like dried onto her face and all down her, the front of her shirt. And she's holding this jacket that's covered in blood, and she was like, I tried to wrap my jacket around Sophie's leg to stop the bleeding, but it didn't work.
Oh, God.
I know, it made me so sad. I was like, thank you, honey. You tried, you know. She's like got a concussion. Oh.
So what was that like, seeing Jaden like trying to help you with blood all over her face? Did that scare you?
Well, I was worried about her.
Yeah.
Like, I was wondering if, like, she had, like, broken something on her face or, like...
Yeah.
Whatever. But I was happy that she tried to help me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that was, like kind of like a special, in a weird way, like, bonding experience?
That's what I would think.
Yeah, with, like, your friend that you guys, if you hadn't had her there and you were just on your own... kind of thing, do you think you would have been in worse shape not having your friend there?
Yeah, I probably would have just felt really alone, I guess.
Yeah.
So I am kind of happy that I had a friend there.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you
you
don't
guys
want
were
your friend.
both okay, and I mean, I know you had a big, significant injury, but that you guys weren't, not to bring up a bad subject, but dead.
Yeah.
Like you guys survived, and you had each other to support and be there to know that you guys both went through that together. I think that would, I feel like that would help me. I mean, I've not been in any kind of situation like that, but I would think that if I did, or I would like want to know that like my friend was there and knew what I went through, or kind of thing.
I was willing to
really
help
scary.
you, not just be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm hurt, help me. Like that's it's just a good friend.
Right. Well, it's scary for like both of you, because I freak out about stuff like that all the time. Just like a
Your
phone
child
call.
getting hurt. Yeah,
for sure.
You feel so helpless. And you feel like you're supposed to protect your kids, and you feel, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But the like heartbreaking thing was after she got the cast, she then had to learn how to use like a wheelchair, and she had to learn how to use crutches. So at the children's hospital, they have like physical therapists that come and teach you how to do that. They have occupational therapists that teach you how to get dressed with a cast on, and how to bathe with a cast on, and taught us what equipment we're going to need and whatever. And then how to walk up and down stairs and stuff. She had to learn that because we've got stairs going any way into our house.
Right.
The thing that was so heartbreaking was she was trying to learn stairs, and they had to take a break because she wasn't really getting it, and it was taking a really long time, and she was getting frustrated, and she sat down and she started crying, and she doesn't cry much, like both of us are very stingy with our tears.
With your tears. So is Kenny's entire family. They don't cry.
But she sat down and she started crying, and she goes, I was just like, are you okay, honey? And was holding her, and she was just like, I just wish I would have got home safe.
Aw. Oh.
I know. I wish you did too, honey. There's nothing we can do. So she did 6 weeks in that cast. 6 more weeks in a brace. All summer long.
Right after you got the old swimming pool.
I bought, oh my God. I bought.
Yeah, that was so weird and serendipitous.
I know.
Yeah.
I bought our family a swimming pool the day I clicked like order and bought it, and then I went to pick up my groceries in Shahela's, and that's when I got that phone call about her. It was like the day I bought a swimming pool, of course. It's still in the box right now, because I wasn't going to set it up and like have any of the rest of us use it.
Nanny boo-boo, Sophie. We're all going to like have a nice swimming summer. Like kick our legs around.
My leg's not broken.
It's alright. I don't like swimming anyways, so I probably wouldn't have cared that much.
But still, it's just kind of, it's like one of those
not cool
FUs or whatever to somebody that's got that problem going on. Well, what about now? Like, have you ridden the bus since then? No? Are you not about the bus?
I refuse to ride a bus now.
Yeah. Well, and like, can I bring up another bad day that I don't know the total details of, but...
Hitting the deer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, me and my stepdad hit a deer in my mom's car, and so it was, what was it, November of last year? Yeah. We were just gonna go to, like, Target, and because I had, like, I think I got a gift card from the tribe. And we were just gonna have a nice family night or whatever together. And then we hit a freaking deer. And, like, it was like an inch away from us. Like, it just like jumped out right
Into the car.
right into the car. And so, yeah, we hit it, and, like, I'm, like, freaked out, and I'm like, oh God, what just happened, you know? So Patrick's like, are you okay, whatever? You know, we were on that hill, like, you know when you go into Chehalis, and it's, like, that hill that goes down a bit and whatever?
Right when Mount Rainier peaks up.
Oh, yeah.
When you're going down the hill, Mount Rainier shoots up.
Yeah.
Right there.
And so we made it to that, like, one fork in the road with the house. And we pulled over there, and so all you can smell is just, like, smoke and gas, and the, like, front of the car is, like, completely destroyed. We just pull over, and, like, 3 other people come by, and they're like, are you guys okay or whatever? And people was like, oh yeah, we just hit a deer, and they're like, oh, where is it? I'm gonna cook it for dinner or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so appropriate.
Country people.
Yeah, for the country.
I know. So the police get there eventually, and so since we were stopped by, like, right by a house, this, like, old guy comes out to see what's going on, and the police officer walks up to him, and he's like, oh, what happened? And whatever, and, like, and he says, like, the exact same thing. He's like, oh, I'll go find it and cook it for dinner. And so, like, the police man goes up to try and, like, find the deer or whatever.
Oh, the policeman was the one that wanted to go eat it?
No, I think it was...
Oh.
I don't...
Oh, he was gonna go help the old man?
I don't know. I think so. No, I think he might have just been trying to find the deer just to see, like,
I feel like they should
where it
have...
was. To see... I don't know.
Yeah, whoever was going to get this deer and cook it up probably should have given it to you and Peepaw
Yeah.
for, like...
We get some steaks.
Yeah, and, yeah. Gosh.
But this was 5 months after her first.
I know. And I want to commend
After
you again for not shitting your pants or peeing your
Seriously.
pants.
I
or
almost did.
You almost
Yeah.
did? That
I
deer.
almost did both times.
Yeah.
Also, you still haven't gotten your car back after, like, 3 months.
Yep. I still don't have a car.
If we think about terms of statistics, I think that you've kind of gotten a lot of the things that are very rare to happen to people out of your way
Yeah.
early on.
I tried to explain to her that, like, the odds of a bus crashing
Yes.
are
So
crazy
slim. Yeah.
slim.
So you can spend the rest of your life knowing that you've got that out of your way and deer hitting out of the way, because it's probably not likely to have another experience like that.
I would like to thank you, Sofie, for sharing with us some of the worst days of your life. You did a great job.
Thank you. I am happy to be a guest on your show.
Yeah. Yeah, this was like, I think there's like a special, it's one thing to try to like reiterate somebody else's the worst day of their life, you know, in a way that's like, I mean, I think this is just, like, it was one of the worst days of your life, and like to describe from your perspective, which is just agonizing and horrible anyway, but the whole like bus experience. I wanted to know too, like what that was like, or from the perspective of Sofie, because I don't think I ever heard.
I know, and I try not. I think we all try not to bring it up too often because we don't want to like trigger her.
I didn't think it would be like triggering to talk about or anything, and then I ended up almost crying.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like actually think it would be like it wouldn't affect me to talk about or anything, but I guess it did.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel now? Bad or good?
I mean, I feel better now that the whole story is out of the way.
Well, can I make another comment from the audience?
Absolutely.
That's kind of what I was thinking, like some things that are traumatic that happen like early on, especially like in younger times. It's like why I think this is important is because I think that some things people don't talk about or don't want to talk about or don't want to think about. And they think if maybe they don't talk about it or think about it, like it just goes away. But years can go by and those things come up, and then it's like
It damages you almost more and more every time it comes up, and you
to
don't
keep it in. Yeah,
deal with it.
right. To not share, even though the story or the experience is really emotional and makes you want to cry. That's like okay, like that's healthy. What's not healthy is not talking about it ever, and then trying to pretend like it didn't happen, and then 20 years from now suddenly you're on a bus and then you're like hit from like a
You just
like
start
a
screaming
memory
and vomiting at the same time.
So I think it's healthy and I think it's healthy to talk about it, and I think it helps other people too that might have been through something similar to feel like they can talk about it also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to like. That's my latest mission, is trying to encourage people to talk about things sooner versus later.
Yes.
Because later is when things just get worse. Like
Yeah.
it just like builds up and builds up like a snowball, and then suddenly you don't know what to do. So, and I think that your story and the fact that my phone's having a text message problem, but I think that your bravery can help people feel like they want to share their stories too, and that's okay. It's okay to like, process it, to talk about it again, and remember how it felt.
There was actually I don't remember what his title was, but some sort of politician that wanted to hear Sophie's story because he's been big on seatbelts on buses for a very long time. And I think that we've been wanting to record it, but have been a little, I don't know, hesitant about it. And
What do you think about? Do you think? Well, now that
Read
you've
a newspaper.
now that you've told the story with us, do you feel more comfortable talking about it again? In that kind of situation,
Maybe.
to like
You'll tell
Well-
that story probably a lot in your life.
it's kind of like
And it'll get easier every time.
yeah, totally different, crazy story, but of Frida Kahlo, the artist. She was in a really bad bus accident where a piece of the bus like went and impaled her. Have you ever seen the Frida Kahlo story?
yeah.
Yeah, so she was in a bus accident, and that's what caused her to be in the bed, like bedridden, and having to do like, like when she started doing like self-portraits, which I think people just thought she was just like, insanely narcissistic and just like wanted to paint herself, but she was her only like,
Subject, yeah.
yeah, so it was just like, but that was always an interesting, because that really affected her, and then throughout her life, kind of, was like a recurring theme. But yeah, I mean, it's terrifying. Terrifying. I would not want to be in a bus accident, especially with, like you were saying, with the seatbelt factor or lack thereof. I mean, because you do just kind of, it's obvious you just go flying around.
Yeah,
you don't
they
have
do.
anything to, yeah.
And it's one thing, I've after that happened, I started furiously researching why aren't there seatbelts on buses? Why not? Why not? And everything I was reading, they were like, oh, well, if there's an accident, it's difficult to get all the children out. Fuck you, no, it's not.
Right.
Like, older
Like,
kids
what's-
help smaller kids and push a button
Yeah,
and
like-
get them out. If there's an accident, they're alive. They're not scattered all over the place, thrown, you know, all around the interior of the bus,
Yeah.
breaking limbs.
Well, if there was actually seatbelts on buses, I probably would have been fine.
Yeah, absolutely you would have, because, yeah, you wouldn't have gotten any of your injuries.
I think the seatbelts on a bus, in my mind, would be almost like a harness / waist seatbelt thing too.
Maybe,
No?
I mean, even if they just had a normal, even just a lap belt would have been helpful, but especially one that goes over a lap and shoulder.
Yeah, something
Which
like
they say, oh,
right.
it would be really hard to enforce kids to do that. No, kids sit and buckle up into a vehicle every time they get into a vehicle. They
Yeah.
sit down and buckle up. They're very used to it. Mm-hmm. Especially by the time they're 5, when they start
Right.
riding a school bus.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard. Mm-hmm. And it...
Well, they at least would increase the probability that they would be safe, no
Right.
matter what, you know?
And the other argument was that, oh, buses only go about 25 to 35 miles an hour, you know, when they're dropping kids off. So,
Mine was going like 55.
yeah. So rural buses,
Yeah.
buses that go 55 should have seatbelts.
Right.
In my personal opinion.
Yeah, but still going 35 and like hitting something that's still
violent.
Gonna do a
Violent,
a jerking thrusting motion. It's not good for your body.
I got
Your
rear-ended
head.
by a truck when I was completely stopped, and that truck was probably going 15 or 20, and I got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, and I was belted in. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine.
It does definitely like raise the question as to, you know, how and especially like I know that in this situation it was like a just general, you know, maybe like anybody could do that, like kind of just like miscalculate how close you are to, you know, the concrete barrier or whatever. But there's also just, you know, situations where people are operating buses that also just probably
Shouldn't be.
right. Yeah. So there's like a desperation to get people to fill those kinds of positions.
Yeah, well, they need to be picky,
yeah.
because it is terrifying.
Yeah.
Plus, my bus driver is was probably like 75 years old or something. Like, he was an old man.
Yeah.
And if he had like diabetes or something, he shouldn't be driving a bus, because if he could go into like diabetic shock or something, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Scary shit.
Well, another we've had is like
Another.
hey.
The next thing I'm going to talk about is serious too, but.
Yeah.
Well, Sophie has shared the worst day of her life, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, I really do appreciate Sophie, because I know that takes balls to even just talk about, you know. Proud of you. It wasn't a bus accident.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm recording again.
Okay. So my brother, it was when, I guess 2000s, whenever it was popular to have those wheelies, if that was ever popular, like the wheels in a shoe. And my mom, something had happened to the remote control to close the garage door, like the garage door opener. She lost it or something. So she sent my brother into the garage to push the button on, you know, for the garage door to close. And then he was supposed to wheel himself out really quickly. So he pushes the button, spins himself around on the wheelies, and his wheel got stuck in a divot in the garage, like the concrete or whatever. It was like two big squares of concrete like pushed together, and his wheel got stuck in one of them, and he spun around, and then he just went down and was laying on the ground screaming, writhing in pain, screaming bloody murder. And my mom thought he was being overly dramatic because was my brother's MO at the time. So she was screaming at him, hurry up, Shane, god damn it, like screaming at him, like, get the fuck up, Shane, like, get in the car. And he's like, no, Mom, my leg. And she was just like screaming at him. Well, it turns out he broke all the way through, spiral fracture through both his tibia and fibula. And it affected that growth plate, and he had to have the cast like all the way up. But it was like just one of those things, like where my mom was just so used to him like overreacting to a situation where she just thought he was like faking it. Which is basically what happened to me when I flew over my handlebars, when I told you about how I like fractured my face or whatever. Yeah. It was just like, like, don't be a pussy. Yeah. She was telling him not to be a pussy. And he was like, get up, and like, I'm in a hurry, because she was like trying to get to work, like she's on her way to work or whatever, dropping him off at school. But yeah, he was like, and he had to be on morphine. Like, he had to lay on the couch for, I think, 6 months or something, like in that crazy like cast up there, and had to have like a orthopedic surgeon do his leg surgery because it was, going to cause
complicated.
Affect the growth plate. Anyway, but it wasn't like but it was just kind of like that kind of break in your leg. Just seemed like it sucked so much, because then we had to like, give him like strange baths. Yeah. And that was like a big deal because he was in high school, so it was like not wanting your mom to like, wash your naked body.
Yes.
When you're like a teenager.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah. So, but anyway.
You know what? So, when you just said that, talking about calling him a pussy and thinking that he was like joking or whatever, making too much of it.
Oh boy, who called who?
Cried wolf. Cried wolf. I can tell you something that was so terrible that made me think of that I have not told you yet. It's so funny. Okay. So, I was laying in bed and Scout was asleep next to me, and Scout was asleep next to me, and then Patrick was on his side of the bed on his phone. I'm on my phone, and I was emailing this client that had emailed me, and I was like reading through all of her stuff and like trying to respond to each like line of questioning that she had. So I like scroll up and read it, and then like go down and start typing, and then like scroll back up and read it and go down. And I hear Patrick start going, which he does all the time. Like he like jokingly does that all the time, and he's like trying to get some kind of stupid attention or whatever,
Yeah,
just
like
joke.
fake crying.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was doing that, and I'm writing this email, and I keep getting distracted to where I'm about to write something stupid, that kind of thing where you're not. It was very distracting to me. So I was like, will you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
And I turned to him, and he's looking at pictures of his son.
Oh no.
And crying. And he was really crying.
Oh no.
And as soon as I said it, I looked at him and I felt so, he looked at me like, what did I do? It was the saddest. Oh my God. I felt so fucking terrible. And we joke about it all the time now. It was so mean.
It's kind of okay, like I'm not ultra defending you, but he is kind of,
it sounded exactly the same as his joking crying, which he does all the time.
Right.
But he hasn't seen his son in 2 years, but he was just looking at like a video of him and crying, and I told him to shut the fuck up. Terrible. So,
Because we don't have very thick walls. I heard him like crying, and I thought he was faking it too. And I texted you. And I was like, "What is he crying about?" Like in a joking way.
Yeah.
Then after a while, I realized, oh, he's actually crying.
I responded
isn't
to
he?
you and told you.
No.
I felt so bad too.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't tell him to shut the fuck up. The nicest
Yeah,
guy
way
in
to
the-
go. Way to not tell Patrick to shut the fuck up, Sophie. You were the winner that day.
Well, anyway.
This is all right. Well, should we include this in our
Yes.
podcast?
Yes, of course. All of
Okay.
it.
What happened to your arm? Oh, is that from when you burnt yourself
Yes.
the other day? Are
Yes.
you fucking serious?
Isn't that gnarly?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was my oven burn on
Kenny
the door.
has to look at it after he gets out of the toilet.
Okay.
It looks like a Star Trek or no, like what is that? You're not talking about like that
The symbol
yes.
that's on their outfits, on their uniforms. Thanks. That's what I was going for.
Kenny, when you get out of the toilet, look at Cherish's burn from that
Pretty gnarly.
What does it look like?
Star Trek.
It's like, I don't know, like a birthmark.
Yeah, it looks gross.
Triangle. It's like a Star Trek triangle. Okay.
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 Try to take. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. I always say that. I don't like the way it sounds for some reason. Thank you so much for listening. But I mean, thanks.
Thank
I mean
you
it.
for
Being a friend. Travel down the road, back again.
yeah. Thank you for I don't know how I like it. It's kind of weird.
I know. I hate it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's weird because when we're here, we don't feel.
Okay.
It feels like it's just us talking. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be. But then when you're listening to it, you're like, I wish we would have said something like
Yeah.
to the world,
Well,
out to the
we're
people.
so glad that you listened long enough that you're still here listening to the end, unless you fast forwarded and just got to the end, maybe. Or
Why would you do that? That's just
yeah,
stupid.
but
Don't do that.
being a part of this journey.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on this journey with us.
Yeah, we appreciate you being a part of this journey. We hope that it inspires you to share, maybe, about any kind of what you might consider to be the worst day of your life, or maybe not even the worst day, but maybe not a great day, but something that maybe what we shared about, maybe sort of like spawned a thought or a memory that made you want to talk or hang out more longer. I don't know. Hey, if you're still here.
Okay, if you're still here after all of that. If you have a story you would like to share with us and let us share back to you, you can email that story to theworstdaypodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram if you want. I have not been very keeping up with it very well, but it's there. It's the worst day of my life.podcast.
Yeah.
We apparently have a Twitter neither of us know how to use. It's the worst day podcast.
Don't you be licking my friend.
CATS. That's a typo I made, and I'm proud of it. So we're keeping it. And I think just remember that it could always be worse. Alrighty, thanks. Goodbye.
Bye bye.